Hi, it's your friend. Due to certain circumstances, ordinary high school student Makoto Misumi is summoned to another world. A god named Tsuyomi tells him that his parents are not from Earth and he wants to send them to another world to become a hero. At least he blesses Makoto with some powers, but then a goddess takes him away. However, despite a goddess is ridiculous, Makoto is banished to the barren wasteland as she thinks he's too ugly. Tsukiyomi has one last chat with Makoto and tells him that he was restricted on Earth, but he can use his powers freely in the wasteland. After 3 days in the strange world, Makoto saves an orc named Emma from a two-headed dog. She says explain that she wants to devote herself to deity Shen to clear the fog that is wreaking havoc on her village's corpse. She brings Makoto to the village and teaches him some magic. He quickly progresses, but only reaches level 1 as he assessed. Makoto, on the other hand, decides to take Shin to save Emma from sacrifice. When Shin arrives in the mountains, he transforms into a gigantic dragon and confronts Makoto in a fierce battle. Makoto quickly dominant, but he is stuck behind a memory illusion. In this illusion, he meets with Crush, Hasuwaga, and Shun learns more about his life on Earth. Makoto ultimately breaks away from the delusion, but Shin gives him peace and displays interest in being his friend to discover more about his past. They make an 80-20 deal and Shane changes into a beautiful woman to accompany Makoto. She transports Makoto to another reality known as the Demiplane. She changes it to reflect the historical plays and samurai Mary she had seen previously. Makoto and Shen go to the village to settle matters with Emma and the orcs, and then everyone has a celebration. She convinces the orcs to relocate to her dim plane so that they can coexist in a better world. Shin also makes a child fragment of herself to protect the inhabitants. Shin continues to watch Makoto's memories while he has decided to learn more about his parents. One day, Shin returns with an injured dwarf and explains that the spider monster Black Disaster is plaguing her lands. Due to its appetite, the spider appears and Shin refuses to fight it, so Makoto takes it on. But the spider can regenerate quickly, so he runs out of energy. He is ready to be devoured until he awakens some secret powers and defeats the spider once more. It can regenerate from his blood, but now that the hunger has satiated its need, it falls in love with Makoto. Shen takes advantage of the opportunity to give the spider a complete contract as well as to turn into a beautiful woman. Makoto is introduced to the spider girl when the senior dwarf called Baron recovers from the injuries. He requests that his people relocate to Demiplan and Shen agrees after arranging some bribes. Later, Shane forces Makoto to give her and the spider girl some proper names. After a bit of hesitation, he calls Shen and the name Mio. The dwarves, lizardfolk, and all spiders join the orcs and its inhabitants of the Demiplane, and Makoto is chosen to be the young master. Now Makoto comes across some humans, but they can't understand his language and acts hostile because they think he's a demon lord, as he has too much mana surrounding him. The dwarves make a drop in a ring that surpasses Makoto's mana, and he learns to summon the written Japanese language for communication purposes. The Makoto, Tomoe, and Miyu enter the human town of Zetsua and register at an adventurers guild. Tomo and Mio reach higher magic levels upon being tested, but Makoto is only at level 1 due to his suppressed mana. Tomo learns that Sophia Boga, the demon slayer, has killed another dragon lancer. Later, the crew finds that the town is expensively expensive and that they're being followed by feet. Makoto and Mio then meets a girl named Ranina. Ranina is led to the end when she claims that her sister Toa has vanished. Meanwhile, Tomoe inadvertently kills two thieves but saves one. Makoto bonds with Ranina, who gives him a stretch Toa, and to his surprise, she looks a bit like Hasawaga. Tomoe captures her hostages and reads her memories to determine where Toa is being held. He instructs the females to locate Toa and they quickly rescue her. Meanwhile, Makoto utilizes his abilities to spy on Ranina, who's assisting Toa's captures and stealing Makoto's belongings. The ladies Miss Mills Ace, Tetsua's strongest adventurer, and they are invited to join him, but they decline. He uses a barrier to defend himself from their initial attack, but the girls easily defeat the bandits. They end up demolishing the building and punches Ace away, after which they compete over who is more powerful. The results in the town getting destroyed. Rina and Toa are ultimately reunited in a humorous incident, and Makoto briefly banishes the girl for demolishing Zuya. Tomoe manipulates everyone's memory, causing them to forget what about Zetsuya. Makoto determines the secret to Moya if the practicer knight errantry to prevent any dispute with Mio now that the squad needs to register as Sige. The team proceeds to city Toha, Luza, Hazel, and Burnina and defeats various monsters. On the way, they gather a large number of valuable goods such as ruby, ice, and finally join a new guild. The Rembrandt Company tells Makoto about a unique quest to requiring ruby eyes. He takes to pursuit. He has the items in question. However, Toa warns Makoto about Rembrandt's reputation. Muyu hopes to do something with Makoto at night, but he passes out straight away, leaving her disappointed. Upon returning to the demiplane, Emma briefs Makoto on the amazing progress the community has been making. Makoto decides to use a man as a oppressing suit, but it reaches its limit immediately when he wears it, so the dwarves work on a new one. Makoto learns that Patrick Remnant and tells about him gold. Patrick is at first dismissive, but after seeing the ruby eyes, he changes his mind. He confesses his intention to utilize them from an ambrosia medicine to heal his wife and daughters of terrible sickness that has transformed them into monsters. Makoto promises to assist with the procedure and heads to the merchant guild to register as a merchant. He aces the entrance test quickly and much to his superior's advice and earns his license instantly. Meanwhile, Tomoe returns to the demiplane and proceeds to destroy monsters as part of her night errantry. She learns that Mio is translating more of Makoto's memory, and Emma convinces her to join in. Makoto realizes he can amass the demiplane as an illustrated city and make money from its superior products. He's summoned by Tomoe, who is fighting with Mio over his memories of cartoons and anime. He settles the quarrel and avoids an embarrassing situation with the girls to return to Rembrandt. The Hassel has promised to assist with ambrosia medication, so he leads them along, but other adventurers are keeping an eye on them. We discover the practice is still tormenting the witch doctor who's cursed his family. Hassel is thrilled to be working with Rembrandt, and Makoto discovers the significance of ambrosia blossoms. They manage to produce ambrosia after a few mishaps, but Patrick is hurt by his wife Lisa while attempting to give the medicine. Makoto approaches her and manages to keep her still long enough for Patrick to heal her. They repeat the same process for his daughters and succeeds Makoto and Hazel. Mito, Mayo, and Mio after that are attacked by some adventurers. Mio accepts a bribe to stay out of the fight, but this is part of an agreement with Makoto to avoid competition with Tomoe. Tomoe defeats all of the adventurers except for the leader, Lim Latte. After seeing his orphanage and his memories, Lime reveals that he asked the witch doctor to put a curse on the woman, but not only to put them to sleep, as Patrick didn't want him to allow carry out adventurers. Patrick forgives Lime once he apologizes. After Lime quits as an adventurer, Tomoe decides to offer him Katana and hire him as her assistant. Tomoe also observes Patrick and discovers that he's wary of Mikoto, his rival in the demiplane. Makoto is sent by Emma to check on the people, and he discovers that they are disponent since his squad is too powerful. The group also realizes that various species are not interacting with each other. They decide to hold a battle between the orc leader and the lizard to assess their strength. They have a great fight, but the orcs win, but Tomoe says they aren't strong enough and they should have weekly fights like this to get stronger. Later, when Lime retires and the crew is charged with training a new adventurer, Tomoe assumes comments concerned that Toa would remind Makoto of his old life to improve Wa's attitude. She subjects Toa and her squad to a rigorous regimen including 8 monsters. They struggle at first, so Tomoe devises a method to defeat them. Tomoe descends to a den with 108 monsters. An arduous battle, they succeed and are chosen as the top adventurers. Meanwhile, Makoto decides to collect ambrosia fires to boost his business, and he asks Patrice to rent him a spot so that he can open a trading company. Rembrandt realizes that Makoto isn't buying land to avoid the Tiga Kingdom, forcing him into spying on his operation, so he agrees. The girls explore the Tina Rock forest in search of ambrosia flowers and discovers that they are protected by elves. Makoto's company's formation is celebrated on the demiplane and he speaks to each of his people in turn. It's a long night, and the girls subsequently realize that the master died of a split second while practicing. They rush to him, overjoyed to see him alive. According to Tomoe, Makoto was diffusing his awareness while training off his blow. This allowed him to continuously pass away and be resurrected, which transformed his actions into that of a deity. Even that demiplane is growing as a result of this, but it might catch the goddess's attention, thus pushing her to kill him. Later, Makoto has a brief encounter with a street woman and makes the girls jealous. They take him home and express their romantic frustrations, after which they try to force themselves on him. Makoto panics and escapes, then he equips himself with mana suppressing outfits. Mio joins him as he goes to negotiate with the elves, Aqua and Iris for the flowers. They hold hands and Mio gets excited, but they are interrupted when a group of adventurers led by the sweet woman tries to steal the flowers. This pushes the elves to attack them. Mio loses her cruel, so Tomoe advises Makoto to feed her his blood and it calms it down. This allows Mio to defeat the Aqua and Iris without killing them, and then they are taken to meet the elders. Meanwhile, the adventurers are teleported to Demiplane and are kept there. Makoto and Mio meet the elder in Nigestono and his son Ado. Later, Neo spies on him and learns that Mondo is biased. She also overhears that Adono is Adono for associating demons. Makoto finds the spirit to be a leash. He is attacked by the spirit but is quickly defeated him and transport him into Demiplane. After Tomoe enters and tells him that she was the one who created the barrier in the first place, the forest inhabitants begin to appreciate Makoto. Later, Leash expresses his desire to become a Grand to travel between worlds, but Tomoe emphasizes that Grands are humans who have discovered a way to travel between worlds. The Leash agrees to take a contract with Makoto and becomes a man, but the adventurers produce an explosion causing Tomoe to faint. While the others rush to deal with the crisis, Neo tends to Tomoe. The Leash and Makoto combine their powers to heal everyone, but Emma reveals that an orc has died. Makoto reaches the explosion site and notices a portal to the outside world. He checks a memory fragment of the street woman and learns that the adventurers tried to steal his mana ring and escaped. When Tomo's child fragment tried to intervene, the ring exploded and killed her along with the orc. Devastated by what happened, Makoto locates the street woman and brutally kills her, but cries in sadness upon seeing what he has done. After the funeral is conducted, the leash is named Shiki. He reveals that Tomo and Makoto now have a deep bond due to his memory viewing abilities, which make Meal jealous. Makoto promises to take protective measures with the illusory city to avoid another explosion. Then he decides to go to the Rose Guard Academy with Shiki to learn more about this world so he can make it better. He leaves the girls with some gifts and is about to teleport, but then the goddess transports him to another spot where he is attacked by two demon warriors who chop off his fingers. The warrior reveals them. Oh, that's the finger. The Sophia, the demon slayer, and the Dragonlance, who are now in their human form, Mitsurugi. Makoto tried to fend them off, but they are too powerful and break through his barriers. Things get difficult for Makoto, so he removes one of his moorings and puts on a fierce display of power and water, after which he destroys Sophia's sword. The demons try to kill Makoto by flinging him into the air, but he releases more of his mana rings and annihilates the demon army, after which he teleports away. However, he leaves the warriors alive and Sophia swears revenge. Patrick learns of this battle, but doesn't realize the damage was caused by Makoto. Shiki and the team tell Makoto that the goddess used him to destroy the army. Then Makoto meets Komoe, who is another Tomoe fragment made with one of his moorings, thus making his daughter. The illusionary city opens up, and the adventurers then